I sat down to record and my dog thought that it was time for a fetch session, so we're doing that quickly first. Oh, drop! Drop! Norman, drop! Good boy. This is the toy in question. Hey folks, welcome. My name is Emily and this is Gently Chaotic Knits, which is generally a video podcast series where I talk about what I have been knitting and sometimes spinning a lot more recently, and occasionally some other crafting that I've been up to. I've been itching to start sewing again, but I just have not, I haven't had that like big wave of activation energy to get myself started. Anyway, I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband and our pup Norman, who was just here playing fetch, but has gone upstairs to see if he can find another fetch partner, maybe that's a little bit more engaging. So we'll see how he fares in that quest. Yeah, it is September and I am sitting down to do just like a normal project update video. So as far as the knitting goes, I will say I have less, it's not that I have less progress, but I have less kind of new things to talk about than I had hoped with a every 2 weeks kind of cadence. And I kind of just told myself that I was gonna record anyway. I mean, a lot of this stuff is stuff that you've already seen. I have some spinning stuff that's new, but as far as the knitting goes, a lot of it is just progress on projects that you've already seen. So if that doesn't sound super fun, feel free to skip this one and tune in next time, because I do think I'm going to be finishing a whole bunch of stuff and starting new things before the next update video. But I thought, you know, I still enjoy watching videos even when people are just sharing about stuff that they've just made progress on and I've seen before. So I thought I would go ahead and record. And like I mentioned, I do have some new spinning stuff. I have really had a lot of spinning energy recently. So that is where a lot of my time and energy has been going. And I guess the consequence to that is that I don't have as much knitting updates because I've been spinning with a lot of my time. So let's go ahead and hop in and I'll just give you some updates. I will start with the project that I'm the closest to being done with, which is a pair of socks that I was working on. And I did, honestly, most of this progress in the last day. So I don't know why, I just really felt like working on these socks for a lot of yesterday, but I am working on there's not a pattern. I've been calling these my Scotland socks. And this is a just basic 2x1 rib sock. The yarn is Red Door Fiber Studio. I don't know which of their sock bases this is. I bought it as a sock set. And the colorway is Old Man of Storr, or the sock set colorway is Old Man of Storr. I don't know if the mini has its own name. This is the first sock that I already finished, and then I've been working on the second sock. I am using a US 0 needle, and I just cast on 60 stitches and just did a 2x1 rib, like I mentioned, for the cuff. I did a slip stitch heel flap and just like a standard gusset, and then just continued the 2x1 rib on the top of the sock and stuck it on the bottom with the mini skein contrast for the heel and toe. And I'm really happy with how this first one turned out. I finished it, I guess, a couple weeks ago, and then I had just cast on the second one, I believe, when I last updated y'all. So since then, I have finished the cuff, and then I put in the heel, and I actually just finished the gusset this morning. So I am in the like straight part of the foot. So I'm hoping to finish these pretty soon. I lightly had a goal of 12 socks this year, 12 pairs of socks this year. And I have just like a little tracker in the back of my planner where I keep track of like which pairs of socks I finish each month. I do the same with garments too, because I also lightly have a goal of finishing 12 garments this year. And I'm a little bit behind, but if I finish these, and I think if I finish another pair in September, then maybe I'll be back on track, or maybe then I'll be one behind. I don't remember, so we'll see. But I am planning to cast on another pair of socks soon, probably in the next couple of days, because we are taking a quick weekend trip and I don't want to take these because I'll finish these pretty quickly. So I'm going to start a new pair of socks. I also have been itching. I didn't get this out ahead of time, so I'm going to just grab it from the cabinet. But I've been itching to cast on a nice kind of fall pair of socks. Yeah, this is the one I was thinking of. So I got this yarn at Indie Untangled last year. This colorway is Pumpkin Picking, and it was an Indie Untangled exclusive from the Red Pansy. And it's just really fun. It's got these really fun kind of bluish and brownish bits in them, in the yarn. Of course, it's like primarily this pretty orangey color. Very fall, very pretty. I'm almost never drawn to orange, but oh, and look at this like gold bit. I like that a lot. Yeah. But I'm also always down for a themed yarn, and I just really liked this one when I saw it. The speckles are also really beautiful, just like lightly speckled. It's really nice. So anyway, I'll probably cast this on. I'm thinking about doing some sort of textured sock, like a la Hermione's Everyday Socks, if y'all have seen that one before, kind of like a broken rib type thing. I have another pair of socks actually that I did a broken rib for that I think I just kind of self-drafted, and maybe I should just do that again. Just did like a self-drafted broken rib. I think Hermione's Everyday is actually like an offset rib, so I'll have to think about what I would prefer for this. Speaking of also these socks and what I'm wearing, I realized I didn't mention what I'm wearing, and I'm re-entering, I guess I never really left, but I'm having a dreaming, I've been dreaming about this colorway. This is, the pattern is the Color Tip Tee, which is a pattern by me. I knit this in one size down from recommended for a little bit of a snugger fit, and I'm really happy with it. And then I, of course, didn't do the colorful. If you've seen the design before or my original sample, it has different colored edgings for all the ribbings on like the sleeves and the body, and then a cute, and the collar, and then it has like a cute little pocket as well. But I wanted just a basic tee, and I really like the fit of this one, so that's why I knit this second sample. And I have knit a third one since then as well, which I really like, and I feel like I will keep knitting this tee forever. Anyway, the yarn is Grenoico, and this is her Merino linen single ply base, which I also love, and this is the colorway Lamp Black. These socks are also in the colorway Lamp Black. You can also tell they are very worn. They have gotten lots and lots of wear. And they're from before I figured out my sock knitting gauge issue, and so they're like way too wide for me, but I still wear them. Anyway, I have been dreaming about making another sweater in Lamp Black. I have this tee. I also have a sweater in the DK Base Tweed, which I love and wear all the time. And I've been thinking about making another birch pullover, which y'all may remember if you've watched here for a while. I wear that sweater all the time. I think I was actually wearing it at the beginning of my cabinet unpacking video. It's my yellow Fisherman's Rib sweater. It's a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I love that sweater, and I've been itching to make another one, and some of my friends have been talking about making birch, either their first or making a second one as well. I think Ariel from Airy Knits was just talking about making another one, and she was wearing hers on her most recent video as well. So I want one in Lamp Black. I think would be really, really beautiful and also really wearable. So anyway, that's what I'm wearing today, is my Lamp Black Color Tip Tee. And I'm dreaming about knitting everything in this color. I know it's not the most like kind of exciting or punchy in the face color, but it's so beautiful and so wearable, and I just really love this color. So anyway, I think I finished saying all the things I wanted to say about these socks. I said the stitches, the needle, everything, and then yeah, I will probably wind this up after I record today. And I would love to finish this pair of socks before I start this one, but I don't know if I will finish in time because today's Wednesday, and we're leaving for a little weekend trip on Friday. So I don't know if I'll finish, although, ooh, I am going to the Mariners game tonight. So if I take this sock, I could maybe finish this. Maybe not tonight, but do a lot of knitting on it tonight. I don't know. I mean, I could finish it tonight or not that long. So anyway, and then I'll cast these on probably on like Friday morning, but wind that up and get that ready. So that is my closest to finished object, but now let's just go through some other works in progress. So I have, I guess one, I just barely have any update on. I did not work on this a ton, but this is my Handspun Autumn Tails shawl. And I should have put a marker for where I was last time because I don't remember how far in I was, but I have only worked on this a little bit, maybe a few inches. I'm still really, really pleased with how it's turning out. Oh, I should tell you, this is the Autumn Tails shawl by Ozetta. Slightly modified. Rather than doing an applied edging at the end, I am just doing an I-cord edging as I go. And this one I am knitting along with my friend Maya. She has this gorgeous brown, like subtly brown rainbow color changing yarn that she is using for hers. And then I am using this. So the colorways that we're using, the handspun that we're using could not be more different, but it's still, both are really beautiful and very fun. So yeah, I am using, like I mentioned, I'm using my handspun. This handspun is from the YarnJam podcaster collection. I spun up 2 braids of the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway on Shaniko Confetti Tweed. And this fiber that I used is actually still available, both if you want the confetti. The last I checked this morning, actually, I think there are 2 braids of the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway on confetti tweed just available ready to ship. If you want the not confetti, which I will talk about later because I spun up my non-confetti fiber of this colorway this week, and I will show you that because I am in love with it. But anyway, you can pre-order the non-confetti because the ready to ship for that base did sell out. But either way, whether you want to do ready to ship or if you want to do the pre-order, you can use my coupon code, which I'll talk more about later when I talk more about that spin, but the coupon code is Gently Chaotic Knits, all caps. And you can use that one time per customer, I think, at checkout for 15% off your purchase if you want to buy any colorway ready to ship or pre-order from the podcaster collection with the YarnJam. But anyway, I showed this last time, I believe, on my last project update video, but this is what the handspun yarn looks like. And the confetti tweed colorway, the only difference is that it just has these colorful neps in it. So the neps are red, yellow, blue, and green. You can probably tell the best with the green ones because there's no green in the colorway itself. So any green you see is from those colorful neps. So this is what one of the skeins looks like. And then this is what it is looking like knit up, which is just so much fun. And the yarn feels incredible. I know that I'm probably annoying at this point talking about how much I love this base, but the Shaniko fiber is absolutely a dream, both to spin and to knit. And the way that it kind of plumped up when washing the yarn as well was just absolutely delightful. I can show you in the cake as well. The cake does look a little smaller than it did last time. So I have made some progress. Here's what it looks like in the cake. So pretty. Oh, it's just so cute. Yeah. So yeah, this is my hand spun. I spun this as a 2-ply, roughly a fractal. So I had 2 braids and I split 1 braid into 4 pieces and I split 1 braid into 8 pieces. And then I just spun the singles and plied them together. And it made for this really beautiful kind of blendy, fairly quick color transition. It's a little slower, of course, at the end when the repeats are shorter, but it is into this kind of really beautiful blendy section now, which I love. And yeah, I just really love these colors. It's a lot of fun. So feels like a birthday party. I don't know. Just feels like confetti. It feels celebratory, I guess is what I would say. So that is the Autumn Tail shawl. Maybe by next time I will have my first skein finished. I need to, maybe I'll leave this out so I can cake this up as well when I cake up. And I need to cake up, I'm gonna pull this out now so I don't forget. I need to cake up my next skein for my sweater that I'm working on as well, which I will talk about in a minute. But these 3 need to get wound up into cakes. Okay, so that is the Autumn Tails. There's no size for that, excuse me, but I am using a US 7 needle, which I believe is the needle that the pattern calls for. I do think that my yarn may be a little bit thicker than the yarn that the pattern calls for. So I was worried that my fabric was gonna be pretty dense, but it's actually not bad. It feels really good and squishy on a US 7. So squishy. It is so squishy. It feels so good. But yeah, anyway, I am really enjoying how that is working up. Okay, next, this one is maybe my most progress this week. I don't know. I mean, I made some good progress on the sweater, but I have really good progress on this one too. So this is the Lunen Polo. My ball got all tangled. This is the Lunen Polo by Rebecca Clow. Clow? I'm not sure. The Crayabea. And here is my progress. So I know it doesn't look like much, but I feel like I made really good progress on this week. My goal, or this last 2 weeks, my goal was to be joined in the round, and I am joined in the round. I joined in the round yesterday, so I just barely made it. But last time I showed y'all, I was not even finished with the back panel. So I finished the back panel, and then I knit both the left and right front panels. I joined them together. I finished the front panel, and then I joined at the underarm, and I have knit maybe, I don't know, like 4 or 5 rows since I joined at the underarm. So let me give you all the information about this knit. This is, again, the Lunan Polo. I am using Wooldreamers Sanoa. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Which is a fingering weight wool and cotton blend. It is it 50-50? Actually don't know. I know I have a, this is dangerous, me sitting right in front of the cabinet, because then I just keep reaching for things. This is gonna fall out. Ah! Don't fall. Okay. Sorry, I'm reaching for a ball that has the tag on it. Yes, 50%. This is in Spanish, so it's a little bit difficult, but I'm pretty sure Lana Marina is merino wool, I think. And then Algodón de Andalucía, I think, is Andalusian cotton. 50% merino wool, 50% cotton for this yarn. And it is really nice to work with. I have enjoyed working with it. I am knitting the smallest size, size 1, and I did have to go down a needle size to get stitch gauge. So I am knitting this on a US 1.5 needle. And my stitch gauge is on, but going down a needle size meant that my row gauge was actually quite a bit tighter than the pattern called for. So I have had to make some modifications and do some math. Luckily, I went and had knitting brunch with a couple of my friends like a week and a half ago or so, and we went through the math to make sure I was doing this right, and I think it turned out great. So some of you also commented on my last video, which was really helpful, to tell me that these back seams are actually sit quite far back on the shoulder. So definitely not trying to get this seam to line up on the top of the shoulder, which I kind of expected, but I don't think I realized how far back these seams sit. So that was really helpful. And yeah, going through the math, I figured it out, and now I have it joined in the round. So I think this project I will probably take with me this weekend. It'll just be a short flight. We're just popping down to LA. So I will take this to work on probably on the planes, and then I'll just also take the sock project. So hopefully just 2 projects, but there is lots of body to knit for this. So I feel like this is a good travel project. It's a good plane project because I'll just be cruising now in 3x1 rib on this. So yeah, and then just sleeves and polo collar is all I have left after that. So we'll see. And I just broke into my second ball of this. I have 5 balls. I originally bought this yarn for a different project, but ended up thinking that it would be a perfect fit for this. And again, I'm knitting this for my sister. And so I showed her a couple options of yarns that I had in stash, and this seemed like this would be the best fit that she would like. So I may have quite a bit of extra yarn left over. I'm not sure how much I will have, but yeah, I just broke, I guess this is where I added the second ball, was in the right front. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I have used less yarn than I expected to, which I kind of thought if my row gauge was off and I was ending up having to knit a lot more rows. I have a hair stuck in the, like I've knit it partially into the sweater. Anyway, I thought that if anything, I would use more yarn than expected because my row gauge was off. So I was having to knit a lot more rows than you would expect if I was on gauge. But I guess, I don't know, maybe this pattern just doesn't use that much yarn. I guess it's fingering weight. It's not that loose of a gauge though. So, I mean, I'm knitting it on a US 1.5, and these are 50 gram skeins, and I just started the second one. So I don't know, but I guess we'll see. Should be good. I mean, I should definitely have plenty of yarn, but we'll have to see how much I have left over and if I can make something else with it once I have it left over. If I use less than half of the yarn, then I can make a second one of these for myself, and then my sister and I can match. But I don't know that I'll have that much. I doubt I'll only use 2.5 balls for this. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's close fitting. It's like, I think close to 0 or slightly negative ease. So that could be a factor as to why it's just not using that much yarn. But anyway, okay, that's enough on that. That's the Lunen Polo. I think I said all the things I need to say about that, so I can stick that back in my project bag and talk about my last knitting whip. Oh, I don't need to. Well, I guess I'll leave this out because I was going to take an extra ball with me anyway, so I'll just leave that in the bag. And I can close my cabinet now. Next up, my stripe hype sweater. So I have made also some good progress on this week. This is the Stripe Hype by Veronika Lindberg, and I'm knitting this. Oh, look at it. Wow, it's so cute. I really, really like this. I love how this is turning out. So I am knitting this as part of my very extremely casual apple picking knit along, which is just a kind of end of summer, start of fall casual make along that I kind of threw together because I realized that each of the last several years I have gone apple picking in the fall, like in September, October. And I always wear a hand knit sweater when I go apple picking, and I wanted to make a sweater specifically for that purpose. Of course, I will wear this sweater outside of apple picking, but I thought I want to make a sweater with apple picking in mind that I will wear and take cute apple picking photos in when I go to the orchard this fall. So I cast this on a few weeks ago and have made great progress. This yarn is from Stephen and Penelope. It is Westwool's Tandem that I got when I visited Amsterdam earlier this year. The main color is Tiger, and then the contrast colors are, the dark blue is Enchanted, the I think of the Taylor Swift song every single time I say it, and it takes everything in my power not to sing it out loud on the video. So this one's Enchanted. This one is Sea Mist. The red is Chestnut, and the green is Green Olive. And the main color is Tiger. I think I already said that. So yeah, I had some kind of indecision and like consternation about how to do the stripe layout, but I'm really, really happy with how that turned out. I finished the body this last couple weeks, and then I also knit the first sleeve. And I can pop this on so that y'all can see what it looks like on as well. I'm really, really happy with the fit and everything too. I have not woven in all the ends, so we'll just tuck those in. The sleeve is a little bit short right now, but I think with blocking and with everything relaxing, it will be perfect. I am really happy. I'm really happy with the sweater. I can try to kind of sit up a little so that you can see the bottom. Sorry, that's my, my chair is making that noise. Okay, yeah, so this is what it looks like. I am very happy with it. I'm really happy with the colors and the color layout. I think it's very fall. I think it's very fun. It's kind of giving like rugby sweater, rugby shirt vibes with the thick stripes. And I think it's just really fun. I don't know. I really like it. Okay, what else do I have to say about this? I'm knitting the size small, which is the second size. And I'm using a US 6 needle on the body and a US 3 needle for the ribbing. I did the ribbing on the body and on the sleeve just a tiny bit shorter than called for. I think it called for maybe 4 inches of ribbing, and I did just over 3 inches of ribbing. Just because I was maybe tired of doing twisted ribbing, and I was just like, this is the same effect. I'm calling it here. I didn't feel like it needed that last like half inch maybe, or like 3/4 inch. I would like the sleeves to be a touch longer, but like I said, I do think that they will block out because this is, I actually don't know if this is superwash or not in superwash. I do have a skein here. It says hand wash, but it doesn't say whether it's superwash or non-superwash. I kind of think it's non-superwash, but it is, I believe, worsted spun. So I do still think it will stretch. And if I kind of pull it and pin it out when I block it, I think that I will be able to get, I need like 1 more inch. I really am the type of person, I do not like my sleeves to be over my hands. I don't like that. If they're too long, I will cuff them. So I really want my sleeve to end maybe like here. So I really need just 1 more inch. And I think I will get that with blocking. I could have done another stripe, but I didn't really want to do that. I did actually eliminate 1 yellow stripe on the body because I felt like the body was long enough. It actually said in the pattern, it was like, check your length here and don't add the last yellow stripe or the last main color stripe if you don't want it for length, basically. So, oh, I wish this was done. I kind of wish I had just kind of pushed and finished this one up this week, but I just have 1 sleeve left. I was feeling like a little bit gross and down yesterday, and part of me was like, shirk everything else and knit the second sleeve in a day, but I didn't do that. I, for some reason, felt like sock knitting, and I did other things, other non-knitting things as well. But oh my gosh, wearing this and just looking at myself in the viewfinder, and there's also a mirror on the wall behind me, I'm just very pleased with it. And I still am not completely confident about like what my colors or what my color season is, but maybe it's just because I love yellow so much, but I feel my best when I'm wearing yellow. I don't know why. I just feel really good in mustard. It feels very me. It feels like I'm myself when I'm wearing yellow. So I like this sweater. I think this is gonna be a fall classic for me. And I love stripes. I'm definitely a stripe girly as well. So, okay, that's probably enough about all of that. I think that's enough. Once I finish this, hopefully next week, my next sweater that I'm planning to cast on, here I can show you the yarn as well because I'm right by my cabinet. I am planning to cast on the COA pullover by Ozetta, along with my friend Chelsea, and it sounds like my friend Charlotte also might also, I already said also, she might also want to knit this along with us as well. But I am gonna use this Harrisville Daylights yarn, which I've had in my stash since not last Rhinebeck, but the one before. This is the colorway Bloodshot, and it's a 100% Cormo, I believe. Yeah, it's 100% American Cormo. I've never knit with Cormo before. I've never spun with Cormo before, but it feels really good. And I am really itching to spin with Cormo as well. But I am really anxious to knit this yarn. I'm really, really excited to be knitting with this yarn. And I am also really excited for that sweater. So as soon as I finish this one is gonna be next on my needles. And then later this month, I talked about in my last project update video, I'm going to be casting on the Doppio sweater as well. So really good sweaters coming up once I can get this one finished. So let's stick this right back in there. I have so many good sweater plans. Ooh, there's like glare on that. Maybe I should just leave it open and then there won't be like that weird window glare there. Okay. I know I should probably take this off, but I kind of like it. I guess it would be weird to just wear a sweater with only one sleeve for most of the video. I'll take it off, but I really am liking it, how it's turning out. And it makes me excited to go apple picking. I've already been dreaming about all the things that I want to make with our fresh apples, and I've been thinking about doing like an apple themed party, like having some friends over and cooking and baking a whole bunch of apple themed things. Could be really fun. With a couple of my friends, I guess it was it last year? Maybe. Last year we did what we called Lemon Fest, where everything that we cooked and made for like an afternoon, evening meal type thing had lemon in it. So yeah, we just made all lemon things and it's very good. We called that Lemon Fest. So maybe I need to have an Apple Fest as well. Did I show you? I guess I don't have all the yarn. This is all I have left of my second skein of my main color. So like I said, I'm gonna have to wind up my next main color skein, and then yeah, the only contrast color that I have left is the green. I've already taken the other ones out of my bag and put them in the leftover bin. So just yellow and green left. Okay, that is all my knitting works in progress. That's all I've been working on. And I talked to you a little bit about what I want to cast on next. Now let's talk about spinning. So like I mentioned at the beginning, I have really been on a spinning kick. I've been spinning a lot. Part of that is because I was spinning my YarnJam, so the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway from the YarnJam Podcaster collection. And I did post a video, a deep dive video. And I just wanted to talk about that video maybe for a second here. It was a little bit of a different format for me. So it was somewhat between like a project video and a vlog style video. So I was, you know, talking about the project, focusing for an entire video on one project just gave me the opportunity to talk really in depth, especially for spinning. Normally when I do it during when I talk about my spinning during a normal like podcast project update video like this, I don't get a chance to go as in depth and show and talk about every single part of the process. And so I really wanted to do something like that. I've seen some other creators here do similar structured videos, but I also wanted to show a little bit of the process of spinning it as well. and just kind of the timeline of that too, and the washing and talking and thinking about what I'm gonna knit with it. And so it was a really fun video to put together, but it was really interesting because normally when I post my videos, I'll get some nice comments sometimes, but and I always appreciate that. Also, I just want to say, anytime y'all like message me or comment on a video that you enjoyed it or anything, have anything kind to say, that always makes such a difference for me. But because this was a little bit different, yeah, definitely, and it was pretty much only about spinning, fewer people watched it. So my kind of viewership and yeah, like the views on the video and the engagement with the video and everything was, well, I guess maybe not the engagement, but just the views on the video were a lot lower. I also kind of posted at a weird time of day, whatever. Anyway, it's hard to do like the scientific method with these kinds of things because you change multiple factors and it's hard to know. Anyway, but it seems like I got so much more positive feedback about that video than I normally get just on my project update videos. The folks that watched that video overwhelmingly had really nice things to say about it and about the different format, and that was just really special and really meaningful to me. And it made it feel like, I mean, I'm always gonna produce the stuff that I want to produce, and because this is largely for me that I want to do this. I love engaging with the community. I like having this concrete way to track my crafting. And so when I do project update videos or when I do any kind of other type of video, that's largely where it's coming from me. So I'm always gonna just make the types of videos that I like and that I want to. But that definitely gave me that feeling that I want to keep making videos like that. So if you're not super into spinning, that's fine. I will keep doing my normal project update videos. Also, I'm thinking about doing deep dive videos about things other than spinning. So, like if I hop back in, I know it's been quite a long hiatus, but if I hop back into designing again, I've been thinking about doing a deep dive video about bringing a design from idea all the way until publishing. I think could be really cool. I also had the idea for a deep dive video rather than for this one. I really wanted to get it out before the YarnJam podcaster collection went live last week. But for future deep dive videos, I would love to follow along not just with the spinning process, but also with the knitting process. So I have another big spinning project that I'm getting started on soon that I'm thinking about doing that with. So following along with from the very beginning, deciding on the project, splitting the fiber, spinning the fiber, finishing the yarn, and then knitting the project as well. So these are videos that are going to take a really long time to produce, but I think will be really fun. Anyway, I didn't mean to talk about that for that long, but I just wanted to, I'd been kind of noodling on that and I wanted to share my thoughts about that as well. And also just say thank you to those of you that watched the video and that reached out to me and told me that you really enjoyed it and that you like the new format and that you learned something, which is wild to me because I still feel like a newbie with spinning as well, and I still have tons to learn myself. And I probably, I know there's some things I said the wrong term or I did in a weird way that other people don't do or whatever, but hopefully it's almost kind of humanizing. This is somewhat what learning something new looks like. I don't always know what I'm doing, but I still think it's worthwhile to share with others because then you know that you don't have to know what you're doing all the time, and that's okay. And we're here just to have fun. And I don't know. Anyway, I'm done. I'm done talking about that. But let me show you the yarn that came out of that whole process. So I spun the YarnJam Gently Chaotic Knits colorway so this was in the Shaniko Natural Base, which is the Shaniko without the confetti tweed bits. And this is the resulting yarn. I'm just gonna hold it up again. I'm speechless. I am so in love with how this turned out. I definitely didn't, my skeins are not even. One of them is much, much bigger than the other, but yeah, here it is. So I spun this. I don't know what all to go over here. Again, if you are interested in learning more about the spin, you should watch that deep dive video that I was just talking about. I spun this as a 2-ply. Sorry, I just kicked my tripod. I spun this as a 2-ply. I was shooting for roughly a sport weight, and I do think that's about what I got. This is done roughly in kind of like a fractal style. I guess it is a fractal. It's 2 braids. So I had 2 4-ounce braids of the Shaniko fiber. I split one into 2 pieces vertically, and the other I split into 4 pieces. And then I just, yeah, spun the singles onto separate bobbins, one for each braid, and then I applied them together. And I could not love the way that it turned out anymore. I think this is also, aside from just the color being beautiful, I think this is probably the most consistent yarn I have ever spun. I love the way that it looks. I love the way that it feels. It really, really, really plumped up as well. I think that's just the Shaniko base is so lovely and so squishy and so plump that y'all, if you're a spinner, you have to try this base. It is so lovely. Okay, what else can I say about this? Oh, I think the colorway really, as soon as I finished it, it really reminds me, I can't stop thinking about berries and cream. Looks like, I don't know, like blackberries and blueberries. Oh, not cream. Why did I just say cream? That is a normal thing. Berries and mustard. My brain like was not allowing me to say the weird thing that I was like, no, say something normal. I think it looks like berries and mustard. So it looks like blackberries and raspberries and blueberries maybe with mustard also. My friend Maya had a much more like normal thing to say. She was like, oh, maybe it's like peanut butter and jelly. And it kind of is also that, if you want to think of something that's a little bit more normal. I think it looks like berries and mustard. And the funny thing is that my husband, as soon as the YarnJam collection went live at 9 a.m. last Friday, he brought me a strawberry with Dijon mustard on top and was like, you have to take a bite of this. And I did, and it was so gross. But he also took a bite with me, which was very sweet. He also thought it was gross. So gross food, but beautiful yarn, berries and mustard. I can't stop holding it up to the camera because I just love it so much. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about the spin. Again, I will just tell you quickly, this fiber that I used to spin this yarn is available right now for pre-order. Like I mentioned, the confetti fiber, there are 2, as of this morning, they may be gone now, but there are 2 braids available ready to ship, and then there's already a pre-order listing set up. So if you wanted to pre-order, like if that confetti fiber is gone by the time that you sign on to the website, that's okay, you can still pre-order it. And I think that Trisha is doing, the turnaround time is not that long. Like I think it's a couple of weeks maybe. So you should get your fiber pretty quickly, but I'll show you the difference here. This one I did definitely spin thicker. So this one is the confetti tweed, and this one is the natural, no confetti. So that is what it looks like spun up. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So I will of course link the website down below. Trisha said she's going to leave the pre-order open until the end of September. So you have until the end of September to get your orders in if you want the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway or any of the other colorways from the Podcaster collection. You can use my coupon code or my discount code Gently Chaotic Knits, all caps, no spaces, for 15% off of your order. I think it's just 1 use per customer. You can use it for the pre-order fiber or for the ready to ship fiber. And yeah, if you want to get some of this fiber, we can match because it's so cute. Oh, it's so good. I am planning, so like with the confetti, I already showed you that I'm making the autumn tail shawl. With the knot confetti, I am planning to make the tessellated pullover by Andrea Mowry. I am not a big color work knitter, but I am willing to do mosaic knitting. And this also is great timing because Kaci from Young Folk Knits is doing a Mosaic Mayhem knit along. So I think it already started like a week and a half ago. It's 1st of September, I believe. From then until the end of the year, she is doing a knit along for any mosaic knitting project. So I am wanting to hopefully cast on by the end of the year, but I don't have any of the other yarns that I need for the pullover. I am kind of thinking about looking for the yarn at Sacred Sheep, which is a fiber festival that is happening in Portland, Oregon in early November. That I'm just going with a couple friends. We're gonna pop down for the day, just a quick day trip because it's not too long of a drive from Seattle. But I think I'll just bring this yarn with me and look for the coordinating yarn at the festival. Hopefully I can find something that I really love. I'm leaning toward maybe like a navy as the main color, but the next thing I have to show you is some other handspun yarn. I saw these next to each other on my table and I really liked them together. So it's kind of like, this could be good as a main color as well. So I need 2 other yarns. I need I think it's like a sport weight wool for the main color. And then I also need a fluffy like mohair or Surrey fluff yarn as well. So I originally was thinking navy for the main color, or like charcoal, like with this kind of color, I think would be nice too. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to bring the yarn with me. That's really nice. I do like that. I'm gonna bring the yarn with me in November, and then I'll have to see what I find, but I will definitely show y'all once I get that yarn, and hopefully I will cast this sweater on maybe in November. We'll see. But yeah, so that's a wrap on actually that's not true. I was gonna say that's a wrap on the YarnJam podcaster collection, but I do have an acquisition today to share from that collection. So continuing on, before I get to acquisitions, I do have some other spinning to share with you. This one, this spin I finished a long time ago, but I finally washed my skeins and I realized I think that I didn't ever show all the skeins together, finished up on the podcast. So I wanted to show you all my finished skeins. So this was my big sweater spin that I finished, I guess like a month and a half ago, that I started as part of Tour de Fleece, and I finished, I'm trying to divide them by my batches. So I finished my sweater spin, and I was spinning this along with my friend Maya, and she was just finishing up recently, and so I kind of waited to wash my yarn until hers was done, and so I washed at the same time. And we actually got together this weekend and we got to show each other our yarns, which was very fun. So here is mine. This is my first ever sweater spin. So this is a BFL fiber that I got from Feederbrook Farms at New York Sheep and Wool Festival last year. And it was a woolen prep, actually. I believe it was like a carded roving that I did spin worsted, so I spun it short forward. And the really cool sciencey thing is that my friend Maya spun hers woolen, and the yarns are so different. And honestly, I mean, I like my yarn, but her yarn is really nice. Like, I probably like her yarn more than I like mine, but I still love mine. But they're really different and both really beautiful. Hers is just so fluffy, and that gave me the push. I am going to practice more long draw because I really want to be able to make these really fuzzy, fluffy yarns like her sweater's been turned out. But anyway, we both finished ours. If you want to see her yarn, I know she posted some photos of it on Instagram, and there are some things that I copy and paste into the description box every single time I do a project update video. And one of them is my friend Maya and her Instagram handle. So you can always find her information because I know that I talk about what we're knitting together and everything every single episode. So if you want to see her beautiful hand spun yarn, you can find it on her Instagram, what Maya made, and I have that in the description box as well. But anyway, I am really pleased with how this turned out. We are planning to also knit along together the same sweater. We're planning to knit the Alver pullover by Sari Nordland, which is a beautiful kind of oversized pullover with these almost like textured stripes. It's like these large sections of texture. And we are planning to cast on Rhinebeck weekend this year, since we are not going to Rhinebeck this year, but this fiber we got at Rhinebeck last year and then we spun it up. It's kind of like a Rhinebeck consolation weekend or something. So we are gonna cast on our Alver pullovers together, and that will be, I guess, like mid to late October. So this yarn is ready for me. It is washed. I just need to wind it up. I did want to show you kind of the difference between my two batches. So I don't know if you can tell, this was my first batch. So I only have 4 bobbins for my spinning wheel. So I couldn't spin all my singles and then ply them all. I did have to spin half my singles and then ply them, and then spin the other half of my singles and ply them. So I had to do it, like I mentioned, in 2 batches. This was my first batch. So I'm really, really happy with how this batch turned out. I think it's about a DK weight, and that's the yarn weight that the pattern calls for, so I think it's perfect. And I like the amount of twist both in the singles and in the plied yarn, and I think it's pretty consistent. The colors are not super consistent, but I mean, that's not really my fault. I did the best that I could. I broke it into small pieces. I think there was just a lot of variability in the color. Like this middle one, I think is kind of a different color. These two match pretty well, but this one is a little bit more purpley in sections. So anyway, I'm really happy with this batch. This batch, my second batch, I think I just spun a little bit thicker, and I also put a lot of twist in it when I plied it. And so it's definitely thicker and more plump. And then this was my last skein, and it had this really light section in it. So I'm hoping I don't end up having to use this skein when I knit the sweater, because it's kind of different from the other ones. But so I have these two, and I'll just show you. I'll hold up. These are from the first batch. I can twist it around so you can see a good part of the skein. So these are from the first batch. Maybe we'll focus. And then these are from the second batch. So I hold them up together. I don't know if you can tell. I like this batch better, but I think it's close enough that it'll be okay. I'm wondering if maybe I can do the body in the first batch and then I can just do the sleeves with the second batch. Or should I alternate skeins and just do always, I don't know, would that almost look like rowing out if this one is thinner than this one? Like, would it make kind of like textured bumps, like stripes? I don't know. So maybe I'll try to do the body with the first batch, and I'll try to do the sleeves with the second batch. I'm not sure. I think I have more than enough yardage. So hopefully it turns out okay, but anyway, I really just wanted to show y'all the yarn all together because I did finally wash this and I'm really happy with it. It's my first ever sweater spin, so I'm really proud of it, and it has me itching to spin for more sweaters and to knit my first ever hand spun sweater. I can't believe it. I'm very excited for that as well. So, okay. I have another finished spin. This one I showed you last episode was in progress, but I did ply it and wash it. So it is done now. So this is my first complete skein of fully woolen yarn. So I spun this supported long draw, and I spun, it was also a woolen prep because these were, the fiber was Rolags from my friend Bridget. She put together this beautiful set of blue Rolags because she knows that I love blue, and some of them had these Tweedy bits in them as well, which were just so fun and I think made for such a fun skein. But I'm really, really happy with how this turned out, as considering that it was my first ever attempt at spinning long draw. And I know at the beginning I was kind of not spinning long draw properly, but toward the end, I think I was really getting the hang of it. And I am so excited to spin long draw some more. I want to spin more long draw, and I have just a couple of woolen prep fibers in my fiber stash. So I'm really excited to get practicing. I'm working on a spin right now, but as soon as I finish it, I think I'm gonna get some of my woolen prep out, and I'm going to practice spinning long draw more because I'm really excited about it. But I'm really pleased. I thought that this skein was not going to be usable. I thought this yarn was gonna be too far past. And it's, of course, it's so thick and thin because I was spinning long draw for the first time. So the idea of keeping it consistent was just not gonna be possible. I was just trying to do the thing. I was not worried about keeping it consistent, but I think it actually turned out pretty good. I mean, there's still thick and thin spots. Like on the back here, there's some thicker, looser spun parts for sure, but I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of how this turned out. And I don't know. I don't think I'll knit anything with it for a while because I do want to just keep it as a yarn pet, and I want to enjoy it as yarn for a while because I'm very proud of this yarn that I made. I'm very grateful to Bridget for sending me these Rolags because I got a chance to practice. And I am happy with how it turned out, and the color is beautiful too. I love this blue. So yeah, my first long draw spin, and I love it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about my current spin. So I did start a new spin, and I have my first bobbin to show you. So here it is. This is gonna be a sock yarn. I am, again, spinning along with my friend Maya. We'll see if I can get a picture of it up in the video. I saw this pair of socks. I think it was Lindsay Fowler had posted last winter that she was knitting out of some handspun that a friend of hers spun and gifted to her. And she included the information about the fiber. And I thought these socks were so cute that I really, really wanted some of these handspun Christmas socks as well. And I shared with my friend Maya, and she was like, yes, let's do it. So we ordered the fiber. The fiber is from Created by Elsie B, and I shared this, I think, maybe on my last video because this was kind of a new acquisition for me. So the base is Targee bamboo silk. It's 80% Targee, 10% bamboo, 10% silk. I have the little tag here so that you can see. And the colorway is Vintage Christmas. So there's the fiber content information. And then this is also the maker. The fiber dyer is Created by Elsie B. The great thing about this dyer is that she actually does dye to order. And so you can get any of her tonals or variegated colorways that are just in her usual colorway collection. You can get them any time of year. You don't have to wait for specific like collection drops or anything. So this vintage Christmas colorway, we knew we wanted to cast on the socks. So the last several years, Maya and I have done a Christmas Eve sock cast on together, and we decided we wanted to do these handspun socks for that. So we knew we were gonna have to spin the fiber, like spin the yarn before then, so it'd be ready for us to cast on. And we actually were waiting because the way that Created by Elsie B does her dye to order is that she actually changes the base that she does dye to order on every month. So we're waiting for a base that would be good for socks. And I think it was maybe roll was the Targee bamboo silk, but as soon as we saw that, we thought, okay, that is gonna be a good base for socks because the silk and the bamboo will give it just a little bit of strength. And Targee I know is one of Maya's favorites, but I had never spun Targee before. So this is my first time spinning Targee. So we thought that was like a really good base for this project. So I decided for socks, I really do like a 3-ply. I've only spun for socks twice. One time I did a 3-ply and one time I did a 2-ply. And I just really like the way that the 3-ply yarn turned out. So I decided I wanted to do a 3-ply. So I took my fiber and I divided it into 3 roughly equal balls. And so here are my other 2. So you can see the fiber in fiber state, kind of. This is what it looks like. And I have spun my first bobbin, and look at how tiny those singles are. I feel like they're so thin. The idea here for spinning, I'm trying to spin a 3-ply fingering weight yarn, so I'm just spinning my singles as thin as I possibly can. And it's actually quite easy to stay consistent with that because I'm just spinning as thin as I can at every moment. So I actually think I'm staying quite consistent, and the colors are really, really nice. I love the red. You can't see the red all the way on the bobbin because it's kind of covered up. This is just the end of the red, but there's this really beautiful rich, yeah, you can see more of it here. It's like a really rich dark red, which is my favorite part. And then, yeah, I think there's just enough of this brownish beige tan that it still has that overall neutral effect, but with the pink and the red and the green, it's just really pretty. So I am planning to do this as a fractal. I originally was planning to do a 1, 2, 4 fractal, but I'm not sure. I think I will probably still do that. So this is the 1, technically. I don't need to, this is not an in-depth video, so I don't need to go as far in depth here, but I did kind of split the fiber so that I started with the red because otherwise I was worried I wasn't gonna really get to the red when I was knitting it. So I broke my braid into 3 pieces vertically, and then I did do like a little swapping in the one part to make sure that the red was gonna be at the beginning. And then I guess also in the middle. And I'm glad that I did that. I think that was the right call. So yeah, I mean, the singles take longer because I'm spinning them so thin, but I've only worked on this, I've only spun on this 2 days. So I think I should be able to finish this spin in the next week. And then, okay, I can talk to you a little bit about my future spinning plans as well. So once I finish my Christmas sock spin, like I mentioned, I want to do some long draw practice. So I have, again, I can just lean back here and pull open my drawer. I think it's down here, yeah. Okay. I got this fiber from, I think it's Rainbow Fleece Farms in Wisconsin. When I went to Wisconsin last year, actually around this time of year, it was in October, to visit my sister. And so I have 8 ounces roughly of this fiber, and I love it. And I loved that farm. The woman there was so sweet, and she had little tiny baby lambs that were so cute. But I am gonna practice spinning this long draw. Originally, I was thinking about plying this with something else, but I think I'm just gonna keep it by itself. And I'm actually considering spinning this and then maybe dyeing it. I'm not sure. Or I may just spin it and then knit it. I don't know. I do like this natural color a lot. I think it's a beautiful natural color, but it's a light enough base that I think it could be fun to try to dye it as well. But it's high stakes because dyeing my handspun, it's like, I guess I could try to dye the fiber first, but I'm worried that I'll felt it. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I'll just leave the color natural, but yeah. So I have 2 of these balls of the, yeah, it's like a carded roving. So it's a woolen prep that I'm really excited to practice my long draw with. So I think I'll spin that next. And then my next big spinning project I'm very excited about, and this is the one I was thinking I might do another deep dive video about. I am going to be spinning for the Traveler hoodie. So this is a project that I am knitting along with my Pacific Knit West Seattle knitting pals and our San Francisco friends. So the same group that did the Calm Down cardigan last year, we decided on the Traveler hoodie as our next kind of group knit, which I think will be really fun. But a couple of us are thinking about spinning the yarn for this project. So I was undecided about what fiber I wanted to use for this, and then I have decided, so I'm gonna grab it so I can show you. It's just right here. Okay, sorry. In my bag. I got a patchwork kit from Hello Yarn, which I believe I showed on my last project update video. So this is my patchwork kit. Lots of blues and gold and like rusty colors, which I love. And then I had 8 ounces of this gray BFL that I got from Northwest Yarns, actually with the purchase of my wheel. So I've had this in my fiber stash for a really long time. Sorry for the noise. And I actually called them and I ordered over the phone just 8 more ounces of this gray BFL fiber. So the idea is I'm gonna do a 2-ply for the hoodie, and I'm gonna do 1 ply of just the gray and 1 ply of the patchwork kit. So I'm gonna break up the pieces of the patchwork kit into like little tiny pieces so that it's like 1 ply of gray and then the other is just rainbow, colorful, pretty. And I think it's gonna be really fun. So I need to think more about how I'm gonna divide the fiber and how I wanna spin it and everything. Because again, since I only have, so this is 2 pounds of fiber. So I have, the patchwork kit is 1 pound, and then the gray BFL I have now, since I got 8 more ounces, I have 16 ounces, or I have 1 pound of that as well. So I have 2 pounds, which I think should be plenty for this spin. And yeah, I'm gonna apply them together, and I think it's gonna be really fun. Since I have that much fiber, again, and I only have 4 bobbins for my, since I only have 4 bobbins for my wheel, I am gonna have to do it in batches again. And I'm trying to think about if there's anything I can do to keep my batches more consistent. I did do a sample and a color, or a, what is it called? Control card for my BFL spin, but I found that I just did not really refer to it. So maybe I could just try to actually pay attention to my control card a little more. Probably I could do that. I will almost certainly sample again for this because it's such a big spin. So yeah, stay tuned. I will probably talk about that a little bit once I start spinning it throughout my project update videos, but I am planning to record again a deep dive video going through that whole spin process and maybe through the knitting of the hoodie as well, which I also hope to cast on before the end of this year, but maybe that is a little ambitious because I have already talked about a lot of things that I want to cast on before the end of the year. I'm just so excited about all the stuff that I have planned. I'm feeling very inspired. I think that knitting mojo and spinning mojo and inspiration just comes and goes so much, but I'm feeling very much at a high right now. I think it's maybe because of the changing of seasons and because I've been doing lots of knitting and chatting with friends, and of course like going to Flock Fiber Festival, always at community events like that, the inspiration is just super high. So I don't know, I'm feeling the inspiration right now. I'm feeling excited about my knitting and spinning a lot. But yeah, okay. Oh, one other thing, I guess I can show you the outside. Another thing that I did this weekend is Maya and I put together each other's fiber advents. So I talked about this in a couple episodes ago, but I had the idea to take a Hedgehog Fibers Lucky Dip and divide it into a whole bunch of tiny pieces and then bag those up and make myself like a little fiber advent. And I of course roped my friend Maya into doing this with me as well. But what we did actually is we packaged up each other's advents so that, you know, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much, but we were just thinking like, oh, I want to pick a really good one for day 1 and a really good one for day 24. And like, I don't know, that kind of thing. And make sure that they're like well distributed. So you don't have like 2 there that look exactly the same on like back-to-back days or whatever. So anyway, I took mine to her house and then we did all of our packaging. So I have this box now, which is just full of all my little paper bags that have my little advent fiber in it. So I'm not sure yet how I'm going to like display it. I may try to do some sort of garland where I clip the bags to it and put it up like in this room somewhere. Maybe like above my desk I could do, or yeah, I'm not quite sure where I will put it yet, but I have the bags ready to go and it is September, so there's still quite some time, but I am ready to go. And we are already talking about how we want to put together advents for each other, fiber advents for each other for next year. And we've got some really fun ideas. So there's some more noodling to do on that, but I'm very excited about that idea as well. Okay, wrapping up. I do have an acquisition that I want to share with you. Again, I have already put it in my drawer, so I'll just grab it out of the drawer. This is my fiber acquisition for the week. So this is the Airy Knits colorway from YarnJam, and this is on the 100% natural Shaniko base. So this is the same fiber base as my spin that I did here. And I loved this base so much that I wanted some more, but I also really loved Ariel's colorway. But I bought this with a purpose in mind. So this is the only colorway that I got from the Podcaster collection. I, of course, already had 4 braids of the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway, but I couldn't help myself from getting Ariel's colorway. I have been really, really trying to, I know I talked about this before, I've been really trying to keep my fiber stash down because I do not want it to blow up into the amount that I have as far as yarn goes. I, at times, feel somewhat overwhelmed by my yarn stash, so I want to keep my fiber down so that it's not an added stressor for me. So I only bought 1 braid from the Podcaster collection, but I had in mind to spin this along with some other fiber that I already have in stash. These 2 that I shared recently are from Hello Lavender that I picked up at Flock this year. And I thought that it would be really nice to spin this Airy Knits colorway as a 3-ply with these other 2. So I'm not sure. As soon, like I had this idea in my head, and then as soon as it arrived late last night, I pulled out the other 2 braids and I held them up, and I'm like, I'm undecided. I think that I'm really scared of doing combo spins because I don't trust myself to put the colors together. I don't know. I had one that I did previously that I just feel like didn't turn out the way that I really hoped it would. And so I just am nervous. So if you guys have opinions, please let me know. I'm gonna ask my friends too. The real reason I grabbed this one is because I felt like it went really well with this braid in particular. So this is the Flock 2024 colorway from Hello Lavender, and this is the Airy Knits colorway. I think the pink bits in, like, look at that. That's so similar. The pink bits in the Airy Knits colorway, I think go really well with the pink bits in the Flock Hello Lavender colorway. And then there are these beautiful yellow bits as well that I think match pretty well. So then it's just bringing this like bluish green color in, which I love and I think will be really pretty. And then I think that these 2 go great together because they both have like the shared yellow and kind of cream. But do I think these go together? I don't know, maybe all together. Like if this flock one is, oops, I kind of undid it. If this flock one is kind of the glue in between them, but now I'm nervous. I'm like, are these two too pastel and then together they're gonna make the entire thing feel really pastel? Or is this one vibrant enough that it will be okay? And what about that blue? Is that gonna be a wild card in a way that is really cool or a wild card in a way that's really weird? I'm second guessing everything, so I don't know. I don't mind. I could just end up spinning each of these individually. I could do my original plan, which is just to spin these two together. I don't know. But I do really love all these fibers, and I'm kind of anxious to get them on the wheel, but I do have a lot of projects planned already. I have finished my Christmas sock yarn. I actually still need to spin the other 2 ounces of my cinnamon roll fiber that I shared about in the last project update video. Then I want to spin my 8 ounces of Rainbow Fleece Farm, the woolen prep, and practice my long draw. And then I'm gonna do a massive sweater spin for the Traveler hoodie. So that's gonna take at least a month. So it will be a while before I get to these anyway, so I can definitely noodle on it, but I'm nervous. I don't know, but either way, regardless, this fiber is beautiful. And again, I will say it one last time, if you want this fiber, or if you want the Gently Chaotic Knits colorway or any of the colorways from the Podcaster collection, they are still available for pre-order when this video is being posted and will be until the end of September. Website is linked below. My discount code is below and on the screen, probably, if I remember. But you can get this beautiful Airy Knits colorway and match as well. And I think the thing that I love about the Podcaster collection is everyone has a unique set of colors, and so there really is something there for everyone. And yeah, you can definitely find some really beautiful fiber, and you can try this beautiful Shaniko base if you would like to. So that is that for acquisition. Let me get this stuff back packed away. And then otherwise, I was just gonna do like a little update on life stuff and what we've been up to these last 2 weeks. So for Sunday brunch fans, last weekend we made quiche. I love making quiche. So that's a classic for us. So it was a good time to break that one out. It's also the first NFL Sunday. So the NFL season is back. We have been, watching football games. I mean, football doesn't happen, NFL doesn't happen every day, but it happens most days of the week. Especially last week there was a game on Friday, so we have been watching football pretty much every day, which is, I am a fan of. I also made a chocolate cake. So I think I may have mentioned this previously, but we had like a little spinning get together at Maya's house, and we all brought, some, just my kind of Seattle knitting group, Pacific Knit West, got together, and it's really funny. There were 6 of us there, and 2 folks had e-spinners, and then the other 4 all had wheels, and we all had ladybugs. So we all have matching wheels, which is really cute. We got together for just a little spinning day, and I wanted to make a cake. I'd been wanting to make this cake for a little while, but unfortunately, I actually wanted to make it for my birthday. And unfortunately, I got sick and my family was sick and we weren't able to be together, and I was not feeling like making cake. And then we moved back to Seattle, and I didn't want to make the whole cake just for me and my husband. So I thought this was a good opportunity. My friends and I were all getting together, and so I made the cake. I will put a link to the recipe down below because you are going to want to make this cake. It turned out really tasty. It was a chocolate raspberry cake, and I actually did modify it slightly. It sounds like I'm talking about a pattern. I did modify it slightly. It called for a chocolate buttercream and then also a chocolate ganache on top, and I omitted the ganache because I did not think the cake needed it. It was rich enough, and after making and eating it, I think I was right. I do not think it needed the chocolate ganache on top. I think the buttercream was plenty. So, but I made a 3-tier cake and with raspberry filling and chocolate buttercream, and I think it turned out really good. And it was, yeah, that was really tasty. So I'm really happy to be back cooking and baking again. Yeah, it is filling me up. I'm really enjoying that. So, like I mentioned, we're gonna be out of town this weekend. We are just going on a quick little trip down to Los Angeles, and then the following weekend we are going on another trip with some of my husband's family. So lots of weekend travel upcoming, but otherwise I am, yeah, looking for, after that I think I'll really feel like it's the start of fall, and it will be like each week it'll be kind of, what am I gonna bake? Because I love to bake. And if we go get apples, I saw a recipe for an apple cake I really want to make. And yeah, I'm just excited for fall. I'm excited for baking and cooking. We've been back in the kitchen cooking, and I love that. And yeah, I guess that's it. That's pretty much all I wanted to share about. We're going to the baseball game tonight, so we'll see if I can finish up this sock that I've been knitting. Hopefully, I'm really hoping 2 weeks from now, when I record my next project update video, I have lots of finished things to share with you. I'm very hopeful for that. And then I have lots of new things in the wings ready to cast on. So yeah, I hope you are getting excited for fall or for spring if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. I hope you're looking forward to whatever is next for you and working on stuff that you love. And we are entering the best season for sports. We have the MLB playoffs upcoming, and we have the NFL season has started, and I now am obsessed with F1, so it is great. It's a great time to be a sports fan, and it's always a great time to be a knitter. So thanks for chatting with me, or I guess you don't chat with me, but thanks for tuning in today. And I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and whatever other sport you want. And I hope you have a great week or 2 weeks until I chat with you next. Bye.